Vanishing Point, a novel by Keith A. Kenel, 8 of 101. Part 8. As the second and third grade lunch slot cycled to a close, Mrs. Escobedo and Mrs. Gunta dismissed the classes in the order that they had arrived. Sarah's half of the table was dismissed after Mrs. Henniger's students had gathered their lunch remains and were discarding their trash into the bin and returning trays to the dishwashers waiting by the window. Each student miraculously having found the inner resources that allowed them to quickly and dutifully perform the necessary tasks that stood between them and the haven of recess. In the hall that led from the lunchroom to freedom, Mr. Lance and Ms. Yule, sunglasses perched on top of their heads, Mr. Lance wearing his signature French Foreign Legion headgear, stood by the exit to the playground as Miss Shannon's class joined the children who had already queued. "As soon as you're quiet, we can go outside," Mr. Lance declared, walking slowly between the double line of second and third graders. "It's your recess, not mine," he added perfunctorily. After walking to the back of the line and then returning to the front, Mr. Lance swiveled his head toward Ms. Yule, who nodded and declared, "I think they're ready." Both teachers meandered to the large double doors that led outside to freedom. Ms. Yule pointed to the third grader at the head of each line and commanded, "Hold the door," as she and Mr. Lance, having already transferred their sunglasses from the tops of their heads to the bridge of their noses, walked out into the bright, hot Florida sunshine. Ms. Yule migrated to a shady spot where balls were stored and watched the children enter the steamy heat from the relative comfort that the canopy provided. The teacher's assistants had also donned sunglasses, and after following the last students out and ensuring that the doors were securely closed and locked, separated and walked to the playground equipment and basketball courts. Mr. Lance did a quick perimeter walk of the playground area before heading to the soccer field where a few of the hot weather attuned youngsters, after getting a ball from Ms. Yule, would quickly form impromptu teams and square off against one another. The hopscotch and four-square painted blacktop that stood directly outside the double doors was the final bastion of school-dictated delay and decorum. Students were required to walk from the doors to the grassy area before taking off pell-mell for their desired recreations. Sarah walked a half-dozen steps from the door and then slowed precipitously, thus enabling her friend to join her. When Schuyler reached her, Sarah smiled, raised her fist in the air, and declared, "Freedom!" "One more week of school and then you'll have the whole summer off," Schuyler answered as the girls walked toward the jungle gym. "You think we'll be able to see each other?" "Well, sure, you're not that far away. Marty might let me ride my bike to your house. You said there's only the one traffic light at Gun Highway between your house and school if you go the back way, and there's sidewalk all the way up and down Interlock, and hey, maybe we can get Marty to ride over to your apartment tonight or tomorrow. My daddy's coming home late tonight. That way they can see how easy it is to get back and forth. You could borrow one of my bikes." "One of your bikes? How many bikes do you have?" "Just two. My school bike and a mountain bike. Daddy takes me over to Starkey Park sometimes when we go riding there. I have an old helmet you could borrow." "Oh, yeah. Except I really don't know how to ride right good. I only have got to borrow one of my friends from old apartment complexes. I don't own one." "Really? Wow. I've never met somebody who doesn't own a bike before. We can for sure ride around my neighborhood. Marty and Dad let me ride in my neighborhood without them. I'm just not allowed to go outside the gate. Mama says we ain't got no room to carry no bikes in the car when we move. She promised we could look for one at Goodwill next time we go, but that won't be able to take it with us." "We need to teach your mom about bike racks," Sarah declared. "That way you don't have to put the bike in the car. Want to play Foursquare?" "Sure, except then we have to get a ball from Ms. Yule. I don't think she likes me." "I'll get the ball. And I don't think Ms. Yule likes very many people, especially boys."